Are you stressed now that you've been prescribed antibiotics because you know that it can affect your gut and your gut affects the rest of your body? I got you. Today, I'm going to talk about what to do if you've been prescribed antibiotics and how to the best of your ability, protect your microbiome from an evidence-based standpoint. Hi, I'm Dr. Ali McLean. I am a naturopathic doctor. I'm a gut health expert, mental health expert, and women's hormone health expert. So there's two categories of therapeutics that you can use when you are taking antibiotics and after you're taking antibiotics to protect your gut microbiome, and those are probiotics and prebiotics. Probiotics are going to function in a different way than prebiotics. Probiotics are going to essentially take a parking space. So they're going to be a placeholder so that when the antibiotics come in and they start knocking some of the beneficial bacteria out of their place, the probiotics can then come in and take up that parking space temporarily so that we don't have opportunistic bugs take those parking spaces instead. With probiotics, we want to focus on the time frame of during the antibiotics and also after the antibiotics. After is going to be the most important, but we will have the most efficacy if we do during antibiotic course and after antibiotic course. So during the antibiotic course, we want to take probiotics at least 2 hours after every course of antibiotics. And after, you take them a few times a day. Usually, I will recommend twice a day dosing for around at least 14 days after the antibiotic dose. As far as which probiotics to take, I'm going to tell you the ones that have been the most researched to prevent antibiotic associated diarrhea. And they also have effects on the immune system and on keeping your gut healthy overall and supporting secondary effects in the gut. Because certain probiotics, for example, Saccharomyces boulardii, that one is going to promote a healthy IgA response, which has to do with your mucosal immunity, so your immune system on the lining of your gut. So the probiotics I like to use in this case are Lactobacillus reuteri, DSM 17938, Lactobacillus rhamnosus GG, and Saccharomyces boulardii, CNCM I745. All of those are specific strains that have been researched. And it's really important to not just get something down to the species. So if you were to just get a random Saccharomyces boulardii supplement, it's not going to have the same efficacy. So it's important that you look for those specific strains. To find the right Saccharomyces boulardii, it's going to be from the Biocodex brand. And so in the US, it's Floristore. Lactobacillus reuteri DSM 17938 can be found via a company called BioGaia. And then the Lactobacillus rhamnosus GG is more of a readily available strain. You just have to search for it. There's different brands that carry it. One other thing I want to mention is because the Saccharomyces boulardii CNCM I745 is a yeast, technically, you can take it around the same time as the antibiotics and it's actually not going to get killed. But for the other two, you're going to want to space it out by at least 2 hours. Now let's discuss prebiotics to take. So you want to have a prebiotic that is going to feed as many beneficial bacteria as possible, ideally feeding bifidobacterium because those are the ones that tend to really get hit with the antibiotics. So those would be considered bifidogenic prebiotics because they're feeding the bifidobacteria. We also want to feed the butyrate-producing bacteria, for example, Faecalibacterium, because the butyrate-producing bacteria are going to create all kinds of benefits for our gut health because of the nature of what butyrate does, as it's anti-inflammatory and it supports the gut lining and it is fuel for the cells, the enterocytes of the gut. So my favorite prebiotics to use in this case are Inulin Phos, PHGG, GOS, and HMOs in that order. So Inulin Phos is by far the most researched and supportive to the gut microbiome. However, many people struggle to tolerate it, especially if you have SIBO or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. It could really flare your symptoms. Personally, I can take it and I will maybe get a very small amount of gas. It's normal to get some gas when you take prebiotics, but it's really not supposed to create extensive gas and bloating and discomfort. So if that's the case for you, probably not the best prebiotic, but it gives you the most bang for your buck. And then we have PHGG. So PHGG tends to be more well tolerated for those that are sensitive to FODMAPs. And so PHGG is still going to feed some bifidobacterium, and it's also going to feed the butyrate producing bacteria. Then we have GOS, and similarly to the two I just mentioned, will feed bifidobacterium, and it will also feed the butyrate producing bacteria. And then finally, we have HMOs, and HMOs will selectively feed bifidobacteria almost alone. HMOs tend to be really well tolerated. I will start at least one of the prebiotics that I mentioned. Sometimes I'll use a combination of two. I'll have them take that during the antibiotics as well as after for that 14-day period or even beyond. You can take prebiotics for a really long time because they are so beneficial. So I hope that was helpful. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.